Guys, it's too big power clap. Where am I ring? Not so dangerous. Clapping. How you guys doing? Good? Fair? What's Saturday? Everybody? Saturday was fun, right? Yeah, it's a good time. I like using Firebase. It's pretty fun, pretty interesting. So today's going to be a little less stressful than any of the classes we've had thus far. It's kind of nice. So we'll get a nice little break. Doesn't mean we're not going to work, but we'll get a little break. All right. So congratulations on making it this far. All right, everybody. That's a little pat the back. Self class. All right. All that. Gosh, you guys are never with me. One of these days, you guys will be like, oh yeah. Oh goodness. Yeah. So what are we gonna do? We're gonna work on. We're gonna set up teams today. We're gonna set up project groups for our first group. I'm really excited because I feel like I'm getting to know each of you, and I feel like there's a ton of potential in this room to build some cool stuff. Right? This could be really interesting. So we're gonna announce the teams. Right? We're gonna work with Git a little bit today. Just as a refresher, but B, we're going to set up collaborators. In class, I'm going to do I'm going to make a branch. I'm going to merge a branch, right? And then we're going to see all that groups together today. So, and we're going to have the last half of the class is basically going to be brainstorming, right? We need to use two APIs, right? We need to be able to use Firebase as a backend, Bootstrap, all the stuff we've learned so far to build our projects. So don't be thinking too hard about it, but just start coming up with ideas, right? Just thinking about it. But at the end of class, we'll go around, talk about it, and TAs and I will help guide maybe ideas or help come up with some suggestions. I did have a chance to preview the Rutgers bootcamp first projects, and I was like pretty blown away by what some of the students made. So yeah, so you guys got a lot to live up to, but I think this class is going to do it because we're all awesome. All right, so this week and next week is project week. So these are little projects, right? These aren't just the little stuff we build in class and hey, look at this cool thing. This is the whole thing. We have design, right? We're gonna sketch out. We're gonna do some pseudo coding for it. We're gonna really plan it out, and then you're gonna actually present it in front of class. So we're gonna show everybody what you built as a team. Discuss who did what, who worked on what API you decided to use, how you involve Firebase, how Bootstrap is implemented, all that stuff. So today's class we're gonna divide the groups. We're going to begin researching APIs that you might be interested in. Maybe you want to do like a local band API, maybe you want to do a weather API, maybe you want to do like a million. Literally, there's millions of APIs we can do. Outline some project ideas, right? Maybe just kind of come up with some drafts of like, maybe it'd be cool if we use this API and this API together and build something. Submit project proposals for approval. This is basically putting together something, sending it into myself and TAs, and we'll talk about it, see if it's enough of a project. It's got to be substantial enough to be able to last the 2 weeks. And it's got to be something good. Think of something that you would yourself maybe use, right? Like pretend you're a little startup and go, okay, what's this .com we're going to make? It's going to be successful. We're all going to make $1 billion. What are we going to build? Think of something that you actually use, and those projects are the best, right? So next class, of course, is going to be hardcore development. We're actually going to start working on a project. Instructor TA workshops. You're going to meet with us and help solidify the project. Make sure it's going the right direction and you're thinking things out. We'll basically act as pseudo architects on the project, but you yourself will be doing all of the major work, designing it, coding it, deciding what you want to do, how you're going to do it, all of that. So Saturdays, again, is hardcore development. That sounds like a pretty easy one for the instructor. So maybe I'll try to get on for this Saturday because it sounds like I'll just be walking around like that. Okay, and then next week, again, Monday's going to be hardcore development, more of it, right? We're going to do Wednesday, hardcore development, right? Presentation prep means that we're setting up your presentation. And then Saturday, which is definitely my class, which I'm super excited about, is we're going to go through all the presentations. Presentation prep, what that means is it really has to be a structure, right? You have to go, we're going to announce this piece, or we're going to use your group name, your team name, right? You're going to use your project, you're going to walk through it, kind of talk about pitfalls, stuff that you ran into during it that you learned to avoid, how you collaborated together, right? Did you use certain tools? How did you embrace GitHub? Do you use other forms of communicating with each other? Those kind of things. So overall, like I said, I'll select this presentation out so everybody has a chance to see it, but I thought I would just outline it a little bit better. So day one's we're gonna do project week, right? We're gonna get into Git workflows, okay? We're gonna work with the instructors and TAs to talk about feasible projects, but you're gonna do it within yourselves as well. And at the end of class, we're going to submit a project proposal. If we don't have it totally vetted out, figured out for today, it's okay. I mean, I want this to be really good. So just come prepared. Wednesday, we'll just get it, make sure we get it all nailed down, what we're going to work on, okay? Day two, same thing. You guys can read the rest, and we'll take it one step at a time. But I'll slack it out. All right, you guys feel comfortable with the idea, the concept of a project so far? Any questions off hand? Yeah. I don't want to share too much of them, just because I want you guys to be able to come up with some stuff. But I'll bring one or two samples. I'll maybe right after a break. I'm just not sure how much I'm supposed to do with that, but I'll share. I'll share what I've learned. All right, so you guys all ready to find out whose team you're on? Okay. As long as I didn't screw this up, we're all on my team. Great. I gotta put the TAs on a team. I think we all should be all set. Remember, guys, you don't get to pick your teams in the real life, in a real world situation, right? You don't get to come to work and go, I'm going to work with that person, and that person, all right? So please just be happy with your teams that you're on, and work with the best you can with them, okay? Oh, also sit with your team if you can initially. I know it might be kind of a jostling around at first, but if you can kind of find a way to sit with your team, that will make things a lot easier for the next part of the projects today. Have I moved too fast? No, I don't think so. All right, here we go. All right, team one, you guys want to be over in that corner? That works out? Why don't you guys go ahead and move over to that corner? Okay. Yeah. Team two, if you guys could be up here, that would probably be best. Whatever works. If you guys are comfortable being up here, whatever. Well, majority of you are here. Okay. You guys be four right there, right? But you gotta be able to position yourselves in a way we all see each other. You four actually are right back there. How did this work out so well?
GPS. That's it.
Okay, and then actually you guys need to you want you two come up here. That's probably the best way to do it. Where's Rabbit, Randall, Timothy, Rarissa, and Abdullah. You guys want to kind of figure out this area. Duncan, you're over there, I think, with what's his name? The guy that's not doing too well in class. Or he's always asking a lot of questions. And then when we come to class again on Wednesday, then we'll kind of try to be in the same position. Just to work on the group. And then we go back to our, after this group, we can go back to our normal CA. I guess we're comfortable with that, whatever works. Good?
I'm pretty happy.
Huh? Completely bad. I know you guys do some.
You're sick,
I think once you guys
I mean, you will.
So, for the first part of today, what we're gonna need to do is everybody's gonna be all around one computer. So we're gonna have to figure that out. So everybody should have to be able to view one computer. When we're done, actually, no, not yet. So we're first gonna be, and we're gonna collaborate. Yes. And then last time.
Yeah, I set up again.
All right, so guys, before we get into, hold on guys, real big power clap. All right, welcome to your teams. I do want y'all to come up with a team name and come up with fun stuff, but at first, I really want.
Why would I want to board it?
You're right, I screamed over you. That's why you're in the back. So what we're gonna do is first work on setting up a repository for each one of our individual groups, all right? So we're gonna walk it through over the board, and one person's going to have control of that. So everyone should be able to see one screen. Okay, this is one screen. And then the second part of this, we're gonna actually practice making a branch and merging that branch back into the main. So someone else is gonna need to control it after that, okay? Does that make sense, everybody? First step, there's one screen. Second step, somebody else's screen. All right? Oh, sorry. Before we get there, I will have this up when we do our brainstorming piece of it, but I want you all to just kind of see it again. I know we went over this just briefly on Saturday. Two APIs. Who can tell me what an API is? Right? Remember? Does everybody remember? API? Really? No, I'm back there. This is like, okay, and Ajax to pull the data, right? At least one new library or technology we haven't discussed, right? There's hundreds of thousands of JavaScript libraries. There's something that would come in handy. A polished front end, so really nice, clean design, you know, that kind of thing. Good quality standards, meaning you really do proper indentation, scoping, naming, those kind of things. Just do the best you can to get that as best practice as possible. You know, I'm gonna want to see semicolons. Those guys probably don't care as much, but I love semicolons. So no alerts, no confirms, no prompts. What does that mean? The little cheesy prompt confirm thing that comes up. There's tons of different dialogues and modals that we can use instead that we should definitely be using. Some sort of repeating element. So it should be some sort of table or column or something that's building. Try to do that. Use Bootstrap or an alternative CSS framework. Does anybody know any alternative CSS framework? Just curious. Materialize is one. Does anybody know another one? Just out of semantic is another one. Modernizer, right? A lot of good ones. So if you want to use them, you don't have to, but you must definitely use Bootstrap, okay, which we learned in class. So must be deployed, meaning that we do need to set up a Git page for it. In this class today, we're gonna just build your repository outside of your GitHub pages. I don't want there to be confusion with a repo and a repo on top of a repo, which y'all ran into. right? So this particular thing that we set up, we're just gonna set up a repo for this. We deploy it out to get pages when we're done. But just for today's class, we're gonna build it outside of our .io page. Does that make sense? Why we want to do that? All right, cool. Awesome. And then it must have some sort of user validation. It doesn't just get to do things on its own. Unless you've developed some sort of awesome AI and can read your mind or facial recognition. I guess it's technically a user validation. Nice to have. Using Firebase, I think all of us should figure out a way to use Firebase in the application. Unless you have something really crazy, just figure out a way to make it work. Whether it's a chat room or it's some sort of something that's remembering the last user inputs using the cookie. Something. It should be responsiveness, right? Should have mobile responsiveness. Should be able to work in different sizes, different. What do we call them? Yeah, your query sizes, right? What are the breakpoints, right? Yeah, and alternative CSS reads whatever. Awesome. Okay. Just to go over presentation requirements, we will have to do a 10-minute presentation, each of us. So we're going to explain in detail like what the overall concept of the application is, right? The motivation for its development, like what need does it serve, what purpose? The design process, whether you sketched it out, decided that you wanted to just do it from straight out of code and like had no design process whatsoever. Whatever. Hopefully, a lot of you sketched it out, and you can bring your sketches in. You know, like look at all these different designs. We used to have the button over here. We decided we're going to put it over here. The technology used, how they work together. You know, what did you decide to use to do collaboration? How talk back and forth, whether it was just Slack or whether you used Trello or some other means of discussing things with each other. So, a demonstration of its functionality. You know, how it works. Potential error handling that you could run into would be cool. Directions for future development. Maybe you like, hey, phase 2 of this application could be this thing, or phase 2 could be this other thing, or maybe if this API was available that we have to pay $1 million a month for, it could do this thing. You know, so ideas for future development. Treat the presentation seriously. Make it feel like what's that show where you go in and pitch your idea and they buy it? Make it like a Shark Tank. Go in and go, oh, this is going to be great. It's going to revolutionize. This is the next Google. You know? So make sure you're using the right words when you're doing your presentation. Try to really describe it using the right context, right? I had an interview today with a guy that didn't know any terms for anything. And it was very frustrating to have a conversation with someone that couldn't describe things in the right manner. And it irritated me just because I have to be able to have an intelligent conversation based upon requirements, and they got to be able to use the right terminology. So do your best to learn what the right phrases are. And I know I never do it, but you guys should. Okay. Metrics. Okay, so what are some of the things that we're going to base your presentation success on, right? The concept, right? Design, the functionality, how well you all work together, and the presentation at the end. So, I mean, that's 20% of it is how awesome your presentation was. So if you want to bring strobe lights, music, you know, the whole, you don't have to go that far, I'm just kidding. But, smoke and mirrors, yeah. All right. We're gonna do some, we're gonna have some awards. I know that Monday, Wednesday class is gonna win all of them. So, most awe-inspiring, right? Most useful, most creative, best use of tech, right? Best UI, UX. What does that mean? Does everyone tell me? User interface, user experience. Very good. Most hilarious, right? They don't all have to be funny, but I mean, there's a funny one, right? Most disruptive. Odd. All right. Good question. Most socially conscious, right? Is it some sort of economical or environmentally friendly thing or something? All right, cool. So as far as API suggestions, right? Stick to APIs that do the following, right? Simple or there's no authentication. You guys don't want to get too complicated with that, but simple authentication is basically just passing it over, right? When you're doing your Git, you're just passing in a code, just like we did with the weather API. You guys remember that? We had to get that code. Each of us needed it. No authentication is fine too. If you do need an API that requires authentication, if you want to work it out, that's totally on you. Right? It doesn't have to have that, but just as a suggestion. It should return JSON response. If you decide you want to work with something that's only using XML, you won't be docked points with it. But I mean, I don't know what weird 1980s API. It's got to be well documented. It should be well documented, right? That's really helpful with working with APIs. I think every one of us developers have worked with APIs that haven't been well documented, and it's horrible. So don't put yourself through that. It's bad. You're gonna have a bad time. So here are some APIs. This isn't the full list. Like I said, I'm gonna slide this out to you guys at the end. So Spotify Web actually has an API. It lets you play samples of songs, lets you play like the most current tracks, lets you get album art, lets you get, the release dates. They even get tour schedules. Reddit has an API. Of course, YouTube, LinkedIn, SoundCloud. There's a ton. Marvel. Comics has an API. Stock Exchange is an API. There is an OAuth authentication, and I think you limit to like something like 100,000 quotes per minute. So don't build anything more than that. There's a Face++ API, which is literally that. It's facial recognition. There's a ton of really cool stuff out there. So explore APIs. I'll share this list out. Chorus is a cross-domain reference. So this is pretty much, yeah, they all will have that. Part two. All right, tools. So, like I said, collaboration is super, super important when it comes to this, right? We got to make sure we're all working together. It's not just two guys working on something, or it's not just two girls working on all the work. Ray, look in your direction. Right? So everybody's really got to put in their own time with this one, okay? So with that, I really hope you guys can consider some of the, whoops, I'm going to come back to that one. Consider some of these tools. How many here have heard of Trello? No, not all of us, a few of us. Trello is awesome, and it's so easy to learn, and it's fun. You just drag these cards around. Everybody can be on the same board, and it's like having a room with a bunch of Post-it notes. You know, you just like, I'm gonna put one up here, put one up here. You're gonna sign it to different people. Say whether it's done. Say if there was not. I'm using it in an agile environment at one of my companies, and it's working just perfectly because you can put it in sprints. So consider doing this. Trello, like I said, I don't want to add on a bunch of stuff to you guys, so don't feel like you have to learn it, but it's really cool. All right. Another one. Oops. Yeah. Okay. GitHub issues is the same kind of thing. You can kind of share documentation with each other. Keep track of bugs, feature requests. Maybe somebody brought up an idea and you're like, well, I'm not sure we can implement that in this time. It's kind of crazy. And Rob, you lost your mind. That would be right there. You can make a feature request and go, okay, maybe for a future, version, we'll see where we're at. So kind of sorting this stuff out. So you're not just writing it down. Everybody will have their own notes, but keeping stuff together with Trello or GitHub issues will allow you to have like one location to store it all, right? Yeah. Oh yeah. Okay. Well, when I get into GitHub, I'll check it out. So maybe that's an option. If we can get in there too, that'd be sweet. Love it. Okay, so yeah, so like I said, guys, I'm trying to run through this a little bit fast because I want to get into the Git stuff. That's most important. And then I want us to all have plenty of time to do our thinking, brain thinking. All right, so here's some ideas, right? Maybe an event searcher app, right? User types in the name of their favorite sporting event, sporting team, sorry. SeatGeek API points them to the next game and where the team's going to play, right? The web application can also provide them a link to eBay where they can purchase memorabilia associated with the team. That's a bit of a stretch for me because these APIs are so unrelated, but basically saying, look, we have one that'll allow you to get a ticket to the sporting event, and then this other one that links to all these other things that you can purchase from eBay that relate to that specific sports team. You guys kind of see how two APIs can kind of work together when we're doing that? All right. Actually, it's a good time if you want to make a quick announcement.
Hi, how are you? Bernard, I'm actually here for Trilogy. I know that no longer with us, so go to support. And everyone here should have received an email from Kareem. All right, perfect. So she'll be your support in the interim while we are recruiting. So she'll be your support remotely. I'll be on the ground for probably the next about 3 weeks or so. I'll be around full-time classes. So just want you to feel like there's apps all in your support. We're here for you. Questions that you normally over to Andrew, you need to get the spectrum soon for free.
All right. All right. So another good use of thank you, Brian. Another good use, right, is an unofficial UN data API to search a user's a country's health record, right? That's kind of cool, right? Then you can use a secondary source like Google Maps and provide additional context or data around it, right? So maybe you could do some sort of cross-reference with their health, with how much the government spends on health, number of physicians, deaths due to HIV, malaria, etc. So that case kind of makes a little more sense to me, where you'd want to use two APIs together, right? So that's pretty cool. Facial recognition, right? So with the Face++ API, allowing users to provide a URL link to facial images, and then being able to determine their gender, their race, whether they're wearing glasses, those kind of things. You can use Firebase to update all the users with their information about the current search. So Face++, I had a little opportunity to play around with that API, and it's awesome. It's just a ton of features there, and you would not believe the JSON that's returned out of it. It's crazy. It's just a ton of stuff going on. Really fun one. But most importantly, guys, do your own thing, be creative, be ambitious. Like, I know this class, and I know you guys will be able to come up with some really creative, cool content. It's come up with some really ideas. Like I said, we'll have the whole back half of the class to work on it. All right, how we all feeling? Good? Fist of 5 with the thing, good. All right, big power clap. All right, you guys are with me? All right, so by the end of today, we're gonna have GitHub repositories for each individual group set up, okay? We're gonna also know how to do the collaborate, right? We also know how to set up multiple branches, bring them back together, using that. So when you guys are out on your own and you're getting pushed, you're doing pull requests, those kind of things are gonna be super solid. You're not gonna have any questions. We will start beginning your API research, maybe do some brainstorming, what APIs you want to use. Maybe start running out some sketches, get some ideas. Creating a short one-page proposal, doesn't have to be one page, just a little bit of information. Your project title, your group team name if you have one, your project description, sketches of the final project, that kind of thing, what it might look like. APIs that you might want to use, and a rough breakdown of tasks. Who in the team is going to do what, right? Like I said, we don't have to have us perfectly finalized by today, but if you have a really good idea, come to class on Wednesday and we'll get all sorted out. Make sure it's solid, okay? Cool. All right. Let's jump in. new repo. So this isn't gonna be, actually, if you want to slack out the first instructions, the instructions 01, I think, or 01 instructions. I'm gonna walk through it with you guys. So you're not gonna be totally on your own, but I wanted the instructions or the TAs to be able to slack out some information so you can kind of follow along with that. All right, let me know when you guys got it. All set? All right, so I'm going to just create a new repository, just basically setting up a new repository. Does everybody remember how to do that? So when you walk with me, if you're a little bit ahead of me, that's fine too. I'm just going to call mine Project Fun. It really doesn't matter what the name of the project is right now or the repository. We can always change it later, and it doesn't have to be directly related to our project. Like I said, just for now, we're going to set up a repository that we're all going to use. All right, did everybody create one? All right, let me know if we're all there. Are we all there? Looking for some eyes? Yes, basically. Okay. All right. Okay, so then we're going to click on the settings tab. You guys all see the settings? Okay. And then we're going to set up collaborators. So what we want to do is type in your password first, and then we're going to set up each the emails of each team member that you have. Oops. Uh-oh. All right, so let me know when you guys are there. We got everybody else set up. And I'm just going to set up my alias as another collaborator, so I can kind of show you how the next piece of this works. But we'll just set that up for now. So you can search by full username or the full name or email address.
Your login, username, or email.
So just go by email if it's easier.
BEC.
We all wrote D20. But we everybody.
Any ideas? This is just a 3 or 4.
Well, there's a sick person missing. It wasn't a name I recognized.
Oh, yeah. You guys thought about it? Any ideas?
Yeah, coming through it.
I don't know, what do you guys think? Well, look up for it right now. What do you guys do? Sports, okay, soccer. Anything else? Sports. Well, the idea is, well, have you guys set up your
Yeah, okay, everybody's got their nice.
Okay, so that's one of those. You guys all know how to hold things down, you go and change files back and forth. We all know how to do that. So this is something we can work in. Yeah. Because that's gonna be extremely important. Otherwise, 1%.
All right, guys, you please raise your hand if you have not got your collaboration set up. Everybody's not set up? Is everybody set up? Okay, so raise your hand if everybody's set up on your team. Okay, you four over here, y'all good? All right.
They still have an invite.
All right, if you have the invite, accept it, go through. All right, just set that piece in. All right.
That's me.
All right, so, okay, so why are we using GitHub? Somebody want to help me with this? Why are we using GitHub? We've used it individually so much so far. I know that a couple Saturdays ago we got introduced to collaborators. So why are we using GitHub?
It's good for collaboration.
Good for collaboration. Version control, that's another good one. Organized, yeah, that's another good one. It's free. It's free. That's another really good one, right? So this allows us, GitHub allows us to have multiple different versions, right? Which is the biggest piece of it, right? But it also allows us to be able to have multiple different sets of folders, branches, right, within it. So let's say that Virginia is working on some code that's going to be this JavaScript file she's working on, and maybe Lindsay's working on some front end like Bootstrap type design. And they both have two different versions, basically, of the same clone repo, right? They can branch, they can merge their branch back into the master, right? At any time, right? As it stands, at any time they want to get a new version of that into the master, they can just go ahead, yep, do a pull request. It's coming in, it's ready to go, right? So what we're going to practice though today is basically the same type of thing, but we're going to do a code review, like a peer review, before it goes back into the master. It's really important because in a real world environment, you usually don't get to just throw your branch back in there, back into the master, right? Somebody has to check it over. So in this situation, Lindsay wants to check in her Bootstrap changes and says, hey, I want to do a pull request, right? It means I'm going to pull this into the master branch, right? I'm going to pull this in. So she makes a request. Virginia gets it. Ray gets it, right? And you're asleep. I don't know what happened. You just fell asleep that night? One of those guys can go in and say, yep, this looks good. I'm approving this. You can approve it. You made it. But these two can approve it. Those three can do it, right? So they'll approve it. Goes into the master branch. You're good to go. It's happy. You can delete the branch on your local machine, delete the branch in the repository, gone, right? So your version that you have is no longer there. Now you want to make another feature change, you want to build something else, you make a new branch, right? Lindsay make a new branch, and then she can check that in the same way. So it's essentially how this works, right? So I'm going to do a little demo then. I think it's going to make a ton more sense. You guys have any questions thus far? None? None? Cool. All right. Cool. Okay, cover that. That's good. All right. Let's not slack out the second instructions yet. I just kind of want to walk through it first and then do it. Actually, You know what? Yeah, let's do this. We'll do this all as a group. Let's go ahead and Slack out 2. Because this one's pretty easy. Just all do on our own. Okay, so once I'm in here, what I want to do is I'm going to restrict the branches, right? I'm going to restrict who can go in here and make some changes. So once again, I'm going to go in the project itself, right? And then I'm going to click on settings. And since I didn't create this, I don't know if I have the. Oh, hold on a second. Oopsie. My collaborators. Sorry, I got to catch up a second here. Huh, this one has branches. Okay. Okay. So what we want to do is click on. Did you guys get the instructions? Yet? 2? Did you select it up? Okay. Okay, so once again, only one member needs to complete this activity. Right, we're going to go back into the repo settings and then select branches. You guys see that? Okay, raise your hand if you do not see branches on the left. You see branches? Okay, you see branches?
Yeah. I can change. Okay. I don't know if I
But there's already a
Did you go through the second instructions? Real quick, how many people can't see the branches? How many people can't see branches? Is everybody okay? Is everybody okay with that?
We're finding that only the repository owner.
Right now.
Right now, yeah.
Yeah. Ready? Are you the repository?
Yeah, we figured it out.
Oh, you did? Okay.
Maybe a second, yeah.
You're following me. I'm following you.
Oh, yeah.
Push save. Oh, I'm so light. So
Okay. You got through the second instructions?
There's someone besides.
We don't need anything.
I was under branches.
Oh, yeah.
Create a branch, push that branch, and push it forward.
Oh.
Oh, you put the next stage down.
This is a big thing. Good.
Yeah, so basically only have one other person. We don't run.
All right, so I think we're all there. I guess I'm still not, but I will be. How many of us got through that the second instructions then? At this time? Sorry, it's usually not you. All right, so let's see. So I'll go back to project name. That's weird. Okay, so yeah, so we're in the branches, right? We decided we're going to choose the master branch, and then we decided we're going to require a code review, right? You guys got through this? Okay, just making sure. And then I think that's it, right? Anything else? Food administrator, that's already there, yeah. So it should be good. Hmm. All right, so once we are there,
So, you had an additional prior review of photos. That we didn't have it.
all right, fine. All right. We don't want an additional code review. All right, so let's talk about branching for a second, and then we will come back to this. So what we just did was protect that master branch, right? So that's going to be our main application folder, right? Everything that we do is going to be that's going to be our main application. So we don't want to just be like willy-nilly like adding stuff to it, take stuff, whatever, right? So we're all going to be kind of working in our own branches. Not saying you can't work on the master branch. In fact, a lot of us probably will. But if you're working on like a little side project or a side feature or something else, you know, want to be able to branch it out and bring it back into the code, right? So it kind of looks like this, right? You have a master branch, right? You maybe create something out here, right? And then you do a pull request into the main master branch again. So in this case, it'd be Lindsay pulling this out, making her feature, her button, right? This master branch is kind of untouched, still working as it always was. And then someone else approves the pull request, and then it goes back into the master branch. Okay, does it kind of make sense? Guys, I want to make sure it's kind of like conceptually clear what's happening, right? We have the main thing going on, we have a little side thing going on, side thing happens, goes up to the main. Simply? Yeah, right.
What if there's like a dog button in the master, right?
Right.
She pulls it, makes a cat button.
Right, cat button.
She deletes the dog button.
Right.
And then, so we're all working with the dog button.
Sorry, now it's wrong.
I'm just, it's that question, I'm giving you one.
In the situation where the change, see if they replace anything or anything that they might have changed that was part of the master in this feature, if it was approved and somebody allowed it back into the master, whatever it is, it's going to change whatever this is.
So it's gonna kick the dog button.
So you click the dog button.
Yeah,
Right?
that's what we're-
Yeah. Any other questions about that? Branching stuff can get super confusing. Trust me, especially when you're dealing with like, 12 developers that are working in the same application and they all are merging into one branch and then there's another branch and then that's going to a master and this one hasn't quite merged back in yet, but this one is halfway merged. It can get super complex. But right now we just want to understand the basics, right? Branch, master, right? Maybe a couple branches and a master. Right, but we'll walk through what that all looks like and then and go through it quick. All right, so yeah, what time is it? How am I doing on time? Oh, we got plenty of time. I could slow down. All right. Oh, actually, I didn't want to quite slack that one out yet, but it's okay that you did. This one we can work on together. Okay, so we're gonna be branching and doing a pull request, right? So with this, only one group member should complete the action. Everybody else should observe again as well, right? For part 2 of this project process, what we'll do is a different project member should do it. But for the part 1, it can be the same person if you want to. It's fine. So let's just walk through it together. Or if you want to do it on your own, that's fine too. I'm going to go ahead and create. I'm going to move over to my bootcamp, and I'm going to get a clone of my project name. Right? Do we all remember how to do that, right? I move over the folder I want it to live, and then I just do a git clone. Oops, that's not it. All right, so I'm going to switch over to that folder just to make sure I see it. There it is, project name. Okay. Sure. Oh yeah, sorry. Yeah, sorry, I forgot how little that is in the back. Yeah, right. So, okay, so now I'm going to do something we haven't done yet, right? I guess what I'll do is I'm going to do a git checkout. And B is for branch, right? I'm going to do branch. I'm going to call create first HTML page. All right. So my branch is going to be called first create HTML page, right? So if you see what I have up on my code, and you guys might not get the same display in your terminal, but now it says, project name, create first HTML page. It used to say master. You guys might not get that. But if you want to see what branch you're in, you could simply say git branch, right? And it kind of highlights the one. The little thing. Also there. Okay. I can also say git branch all. Oops, and I'll get git branch all. I don't think so. I guess it is. Yeah. So I see my git. I see here my git first HTML page branch. This is the master. I see the head and the master. Don't worry about those right now. But right now you see both the branches that exist, right? So we created that. Not only do you create that, that's the world we're living in right now, right? That's where we're at. There's a README. There's an index file. I'm in the branch, which is technically right now an exact copy of the master that's out there, right? So we have a create HTML branch that looks exactly like the master does at this point. You guys all with me? This part's kind of confusing, so if you're not, please, I'll answer any questions. Yeah. Yes. Right now, somebody else could get it, but right now, I'll get it. Right? Let's see. That's a good question. Any more questions about that? Yeah, go ahead. No, sit down. I got it. You're a haircut. You think you can just come up with all these ideas? No, that's a really good idea. So yeah, we have the main code trunk, right? The master right here, right? Anytime we create a branch, it's gonna look like the master or whatever we branched off of, right? So we're creating a branch straight off of this. Is a beautiful tree. In this case, this is called create first HTML page. Create first HTML page, the branch, right? As you can see, in a normal tree situation, right? This is a weird tree. This is still the master. This is still continuing on, right? If you think about it, where I branched off is a nice tree. Right. Now, if somebody decided to branch off the mat, I made some changes here. Somebody decided to make another branch up here, off of the master, right? This is the timeline, right? Are they going to have any changes that I made into my branch? No, why? Didn't push it back in yet, right? So this is acting independent of anything that's going to happen of this until it comes back into it, or I do another pull in. I don't want to get into that. But you can basically, it basically lives on its own, in a sense, okay? Until you merge it back in, or you merge it into the branch.
What you're just going to say too, though, is like a really good practice, which is like before you push up your feature graph, pull again from master, so you don't like override everything else.
Right. So if this was the case, and someone made a branch here and decided that they're gonna add this feature back into the branch, and you're still gonna go back out here, you might want to pull the most recent, ran out of space, you might want to pull the most recent version of this into your branch before you merge your changes back into it. I don't want to confuse things too much, but just be comfortable with the fact that you need to make a copy of the master and put it back in. All right? You guys with me with that basically? Yeah. I know it's a weird concept if you haven't seen it. I'll let you draw on the board later if you want to.
And book all stuff need to work at the same time. Each other stuff is gonna be a branch.
Yeah, well,
So we're gonna both work on that. Each branch is an instance of the master, and then I'm gonna work on index.html. He's gonna work on index.html. She's gonna work on .html, and he's gonna work on .html. When we're done saving on each branch, how do we recombine all of that before we have a mass?
So you're gonna merge it back all together into the same file?
Yeah.
So I mean, yeah, of course you can do it, right? You just have to be aware of what's going on. You're not gonna be able to merge back in the branch until someone else approves it, right? Somebody else isn't gonna be able to merge back until somebody else does it. So the collaboration piece of this is super, super important. You gotta be communicating what file you're in, what you're doing, and what you can check back out. That's why comments are super important, right? When you're coming into what is this, what's going on, right? So yeah, it can get super confusing. So I'm going to continue walking through the explanation. And honestly, guys, I don't expect you to totally understand branching stuff like this yet. This gets complicated. Even in the guidelines, it says no one will understand this, and that's okay. So don't feel bad if you don't understand what's going on. Feel great if you do, but don't feel bad if you don't. All right. So I'm going to add another file to this. I'm just going to call it let's see, test.js. Do you guys remember what touch does? And let's create a file. Okay. So check it out. Now my branch has the index and has a test.js. Well, let's look at the master here. Well, I don't see my test.js. Right? I have a test.js here, but I don't see it here in my master. Well, there's a branch here, all right? But I don't see any changes to that yet, right? The branch technically doesn't exist in the repository at this point, right? Why? That's right. That's exactly right. All right, so let's do this. Sorry. What did I call it again? Oh, well, I had to create something wrong. All right, technically I should have called this like create first like test.js page, or I should call this create JavaScript, something to that effect, right? I just it's not thinking about what I was gonna do. Do you guys understand that though? Okay. All right. So now we can go look at our master. Do you think it's going to show up there? No. But look at my branches now. Look at this. There's my branch here, is an active branch, and there's a new pull request. There's all kinds of crazy stuff going on, right? Okay. So I'm going to, well, let's see if I'll skip by that part yet. I have 4 branches. Okay. I think you guys might have set this one up slightly differently than I did. So I just want to. I was looking for a pull request. Did I not do that? Shoot. What's that? Yeah, it should be right here. Well, this is a, yeah, but I should actually see my, yeah, it should actually just pop up. Yeah. Well, it's here, but it should, oh, hold on, maybe I didn't refresh it or something. What's that? No, last night I had a compare and pull request, but I just don't know if I'm. Oh, wait. I'm sorry. I think I see what's going on. What is there? Okay. All right. Well, okay. Sorry, guys. It's supposed to be a way easier than this. I'm not seeing my pull request at all, and I just did it. Yeah. Okay. Well, all right. All right. Well, okay. So I can do a new. Man, it's just I wanted to show something. Oh, master and create are identical. Well, these should not be identical because I have different code in each, right? So. Oh. Oh gosh, I'm sorry. My bad, guys. Oh. Yeah. Okay. So does anybody see what I did wrong? Well, yeah, and I didn't add it, right? I didn't add it to it through a browser. I created the file. I was on the branch. The branch is just like being on the master, right? Like it's just it acts the same way. It just didn't know that file existed yet, right? All right, so it's using a new file, right? Hold on. Oh, sorry, my bad. Sorry, guys. New files. You guys are more caught up with this than I am. Okay. All right. Finally, now we're here. So when we get to the master, see it says compare and pull request. You guys see that? So that'll pop up. This is on the master, right? I'm seeing it, and now it says, oh, hey, less than a minute ago, somebody pushed a new branch, right? It's me in this case. So I'm going to do a compare, and I'm going to show you what it looks like on the other side of this right after this demo. But I want us to at least be able to get this far. All right. Okay, so I put new files. I'm going to say new file is a JS file. All right, it is something important. Oops. Important. Right? We create a pull request, and it's out of my hands, right? You can't get back into it. Review is required. Somebody has to review it, right? Merging is blocked. I can't do anything with it, right? I made the code. It's ready to go back in, but it takes a peer review in order for it to get back into the branch, right? Somebody needs to look at it, right? So part 2 is digging into that part, which will require someone else to do. But for this first part, you think you can all walk through that exercise and maybe not stumble as much as I do? Create a new file, right? Create a new branch, add a new file to it, and push it up to a repository in the branch, and do a pull request. It's all in those instructions in 3. Instructions 03. Did you guys ever select that out? You might have already selected it out. Oh, okay.
So
So you want us to kind of like everything?
Sure, yeah. Project, yeah, go for it. I've done this a million gazillion times, so you got,
It was.
Alright, so you guys, what do you want us to do? Years to whatever idea, like, that's what it's supposed to be. You have something you're eager to project? Okay. Oh, good. Good. What you did now? So if you just type in get brand,
I know.
towards and create a branch. I would like to do
Yeah, we deleted the annexation. Yeah, so one of the ways that is he's on is the bridge. Did you commit to your bridge?
Well, he approved it, but yes, so somebody would get. So you have to go through.
Oh, so you don't have to necessarily, let's say you're already on master now, you can say just get both. So say colon, so it brings up this is I, it's a really old Unix text editor, and all the commands are like individual letters. So just hit colon, like you do a command line. And so you want to, you need to save this because it
So it's the same way. First, I let him do one screen, but then yes, you just do.
now it's
Push it up.
you just say well, you're on the master branch.
So it's all exactly the
So
same.
you need to
Screen.
master branch. Check out that.
So.
Yeah, it is.
So I think Rob sent it out.
Yeah,
On what it is. So basically, for here, he's creating this branch. Now he's gonna create two file types and virtual. So that's the best.
All right, guys, I want to see this guy get a level set real quick. It's hard pass. Okay, where are we at? Do we all have a branch that's ready to be pulled into the master at this point? Yes? 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 How about you guys? Yes? Yes? Yes?
So create a branch.
And then you guys, yes, you guys? Do you have a branch ready to go to the master?
Yeah.
You guys got a branch that's ready to go back to the master?
I do. Something in before we locked down the master branch, like got a little bit. I just said, when you went to try to do a push, you got well, so now now that because branch fast forward, they went back to master as a whole, so we got that changed. Now
All right, guys, I feel like the longer I wait, the more like conflicts we're gonna get, so let's continue. You guys ready? Big power clap. Okay, so the next fun piece of this is the fact that I get to be the approver, right? So I get to go in and see the other, I get to go see the pull request. All right, so let's say I'm, let's see. Hold on. I get to see it. All right, so I'm gonna go in as the, as my other user. I see project name. Okay, and now if you look up here, guys, hold on, I need all your attention real quick. You guys see this? Right up here? Pull request, right? What do you guys think that's gonna do? Right? There it is. There's my new file. Is a JS file. My new file is ready to go. Right? 12 minutes ago. So hey, it's ready to go. So let's click on that and see what it is. Right? It says, okay, this is something important. There's a new file. Right? It's all ready to go. So all I need to do basically is say, okay, I'm going to open this, or just going to open another one. Oh no, there. Okay, so I'm going to say something like this is fine. I'm going to make some sort of comment saying that that's good to go. I can comment it, right? And then I can close the pull request. Why is this not on there? What did I what? Oh, crud. Oh, at my review. I'm sorry. Since we did, yeah, right. Since we add a review, so now it's a review required. Sorry, the first one. The add your review here. So right when I did pull request, right, I got here, I clicked on it, and it says add your review. So I gotta make a review of this particular change, right? All right. New file. Now, if there's two files here, I would see changes, right? It would highlight some of the changes. If there was if you were updated index, if you updated index, or the master had an index, you can see the differences, right? Since it's a new file, that's all we're seeing there. Okay, so I know it's a little tricky, but we'll go through the instructions right after this. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and say approve. New file is ready for master. All right, boom. I got green check marks. It's ready to go. And I got merge pull request, I believe. Confirm the merge, merging it together. And then I can go check my other user and go see if it's there. And there it is, new file. So this is my master branch. This was checked in. Now I can go in and delete the other branch, right? I can go in and delete it. And I can delete it from the repository if I want to. All right, so let me see real quick. So if I'm going to go through here, I'm going to say, okay, I have delete. I'm going to say, branch create first page. Not delete because I'm checked out. All right. Okay, so I said git check out master, which means I rechecked out the master, which should have that file in it, and then I can go ahead and delete my branches. We don't have to delete the branch, but it's kind of just keeps things nice and clean, right? So I deleted the branch, create first HTML page, right? It's gone off my machine. It still is in the repository. But I can go in here and say, you know what, I can delete that too. So however you want to do it. But you don't have to worry about that. You can leave it if you want. All right. You guys questions about that? You want to go through the instructions and see if we good?
We always have to work out a like Virginia.
No. As long as it's like out those instructions for two or all four.
Or do we clone hers inside of ours? Doesn't show up over here. Right?
Okay. So
So how do I get hers in line so I can see all that happening over here instead of having to go to Virginia?
okay, well, you're a collaborator on it,
Right.
right? So you should see the math on. So you
But it's not good, it's like, yeah.
yeah. Yep. It shows it all. So it shows you the answer. Right, so put down five.
Show you the answers. Now I gotta.
Yeah, you can't be on first. That's what I'm saying. Right, so we always have to go to her page to see all of the happenings that's going on with the project. That's okay. That's okay. I'm just curious if there was her project through my.
Yes, there is.
Okay, that's fine. That's fine. I'm okay with that.
That's why you want to.
I do see it. I'm just curious to see if I want to add something or what.
Did you want to try to?
Yeah.
So what do you
Right. That's how
Now it still shows you like what you've done.
You don't even know.
Now, just, I made a comment, okay, file, and then you can either comment for now, changes, or like say you said something that isn't gonna work. And then submit. And then it should be good. Yeah, so that you go in and fire off anything that happens. So you suggested that yes, this is file.
You're watching.
There you go. It's all set.
This branch.
You should just use this jacket.
But if you see the same line in a certain way that I think that's probably just close it out. So it's all got this here.
You can see that. Wow.
I mean, yeah, you could like blow everything away and we
Well, that, actually, yeah.
So you can create another branch that you created as our branch. So you were.
So then it just.
Right.
So typically, each person will create their own branch. And then the changes you make on that branch, when you're once you've tested your changes, you know, whatever you're assigned to do, you
Yeah,
can work,
well,
and
actually.
you push that branch up to GitHub and create a pull request, and then one of the rest of us will look at it, make sure it's not gonna break anything over a new week or something like that, and if it looks good, then we'll merge it, and then that's reflected on that. So we'll all create different branches, yeah. So, and maybe possibly several. So usually the way it works is, you create a branch for each task that you're going to do. And when you're done with that task, you create that branch. So
in my watch, I heard that.
So the idea with it is branches are all like short notes, like when you do something small, you get working, and you push it out.
Yeah,
I get working. So when you say give commit dash, or again, check out dash B, the dash B is what creates. Just get checkout by itself switches between branches within your file system. So if you want to see what everyone else has done, see what the current state of master is, as long as you've completed all of your changes locally on your own phone, you can switch back and forth, and the files will update in place. So there, you only have one folder, but in that one folder, because it's a Git repo, you can have many branches, and you use Git checkout to switch between. So usually you check out the branch first, and then you can make as many commits on that branch as you want. And then when you're ready to share it with the rest of us, because you think you have your feature working, that's when you push it back to master. So the branch that we all should have in common is just master. And so when you're done with your piece, you commit your branch back to master, and then the rest of us will do a pull on master, and then we'll see that change. I kind of wish they'd explain a little bit more of how Git actually works. I can give you makes a lot more sense. So what a commit is just, it's a way of representing a change. Yeah. So a commit is just a recording of the changes that you made from the last. And so what a branch is, the branch is a new sequence of changes. So like, I represent a commit with like
A little dot, or it looks like a little circle. So like, say, this is where we originally created our repository. And then commits initially are made just along master. But then at some point you start a branch, right? So other people may be making changes along master at the same time. When you create a branch, so now say you make a series of work commits for your feature, okay? Each little circle is a commit. So other people might be doing work on master, they might have changed things, but you're not going to see that because you're off on your own branch. Then once you decide you're done, what the pull request is doing is bringing that back in to the master branch. At the same time, like I might have had, a different branch, a sequence of things that are merged in there. You might have merged in a sequence of changes, there. And so like the history, it can get messy all the time. But this is, when you say git branch dash B, this is what you're creating. You're creating your own little path off of the main master. And so I work on these features, and then when I'm done, then I issue a pull request and get that back in the master. So if you do a pull on master, then only after. And vice versa. But each one of these, like, it's just a series of changes. And that's what gets tracked. So this right here, this is a merge, or, well, I mean, a pull is just a veggie merge, but, so that's what's, that's kind of what happens under the hood. So once you branch off, the rest of us can keep working on master, unaffected by whatever you're doing. And once you're done, you're tested it and think it's good. But you know, we might have made some other changes in the meantime that aren't gonna work. And so that's why. So
Okay, guys, real quick, just by show of hands, who was able to successfully approve a merge request back into the branch? Everybody? Yes? Awesome. Okay. That long string of words, who's impressed that they know what that means now? I did 5, 20, 30 minutes ago. Great. Okay. So I just want to show you a little bit better of a demo real quick, guys, to get your attention. Right? If this is my master branch, okay, here's my code. I got a bunch of stuff going on in here. I have a bunch of things happening, right? This is a configuration of time, right? So let's say this is a 30-minute period of time, right? What if right here, right, I decide I'm going to change the file. I'm going to make some changes to the JS file, right? I'm going to add a couple new variables, a couple new functions, maybe some methods. I'm going to go down here and make some changes to it, okay? So I'm going to make a branch, okay? I'm going to make a change here. Meanwhile, I'm like, oh, you know what? There's a couple other things I want to add to this branch while I'm here. A couple other things going on, right? Meanwhile, while I'm working on this branch, this master is still happening in time, right? I said it was like a 30 minutes, right? Something's still happening. Someone else could decide that they want to add a CSS file here. And they're like, you know what? I'm going to do some stuff with CSS. I'm going to make my own little branch up here. I'm going to change the CSS file. I'm going to add a bold tag. I'm going to add a new element. It's going to do this. I'm going to check this. I'm going to do a pull request. Put it back into here. Okay, you guys follow me so far? Right, does this make sense? Okay, so if I'm this guy here and I made all these JavaScript changes, if I haven't seen any of this, I have no idea what's going on. I don't even care really what's going on up here at this point, right? I mean, I should care because the same application, but I have no idea. I'm focused on my own work, right? Now, before I merge this back in, right, this has all kinds of new changes in it, right? This brand, this master is now got a little more stuff to it, like a little more meat to it at this point, right? So by the time I check in, I don't want to overwrite all those changes and do all that, right? So I'm going to do what? I'm going to check it right back in at this point. No, sorry. I'm going to check back in right about here. It's for 25 minutes, let's say. I'm going to check back in, ready to go. What do I need to do? Yeah, I'm gonna pull everything that's in here and go, okay, merge it into my own branch, right? And then put the pull request back into it. All right? Does that kind of make sense? Yeah, done.
So could you just do a standard pull?
Mhm.
Not gonna replace.
If there's a conflict, you'll have to merge it, right? But otherwise, it'll pull anything else that's it.
So if I edit in line.
Right. Well, that's where the conflict comes in, right? That's where you're merging the conflict together. For immediate purposes, I don't want you guys to get too hung up on that, because you could, if you are in the same file and you're working within the same file, you could run into a conflict where you need to merge lines of code together to make this work, right? But if we try to keep it just nice and clean, where we're all kind of working in our own little areas, this is the best way this is going to work. Go ahead.
If you work on lines 1 to 10, work on lines 10 to 20.
Not,
The same lines don't change.
what if they're in the same function?
If it's not the same line,
If it's not the same line, it's not a conflict.
if you change 10, he changes 10, and it doesn't know which one, right? You just learn it out.
We should pay attention to that at least when you're working it that together, because you could be disrupting another function, right? You could be disrupting something else. So, it's it.
But it'll show an error before.
Yeah, you'll have a conflict. Depending on what line you're in.
I mean, the emotional error, it'll ask which line.
Yeah, so your branch is like
On this one, or do you want to?
These are, it's basically one of the functions of Git to be able to handle that kind of search. No, you should pull off it. You should pull off it, right? The more often the better. Yeah, just like you would if you're working on a master, right? I mean, if somebody else is working the same master and you want to always make sure you have the latest, right? Same thing goes for this. You want to make sure you always have the latest. You have your own version of the latest, but you always want to make sure you have the latest. That makes sense?
When you're calling stuff down, project working right away, so you get full of operations. So get full does it's essentially two commands in one. There's a get pulls down changes, and it's get pulls out get burned right out. It's doing both those things.
Yeah, and you guys had demonstrated Git fetch earlier. Yeah. Okay, so how are we feeling about basic Git branches? Guys, fit to 5? Basic Git branches? Okay. Like I said, I don't want to complicate things too much because it can get super complicated. But let's go on a break for 15 minutes. And then, geez, what time? We got till 9:30, right? Okay, so let's take a break for 15 minutes, and then and we'll come back and do some brainstorm talk. Cool? You guys ready? All right.
That's fine. That way. Oh yeah.
People say, you know, you get this idea when you shower and when you open up.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
I'm not going to any wedding.
You want to make sure that not a lot of so if you come in, you're taking other people's stuff. You don't only want to do it, you do it before you work back to master. You want to make sure that you or integration or something, then you can run those. You can do a version back to master. You get any change. Run your before, you want to make sure that, so you want to make sure that your feature works. One, number two, you want to make sure that your feature is the one
I did that too, where I took a video, I did finally like one way wall.
I see. The last for sure. So the goal of we're trying to get more. So we're trying to get to have like real CIs in the
That's how the last one goes back. But if anything goes wrong,
which is why we we're still testing it. Like, I don't know. They know that
that's short-lived hard branches that are well tested, like long-lived branches.
I know. Kind of a lot of them. I saw that in your
I did that because I really liked it. So that doesn't
Yeah.
All these guys work. I want to be.
That's basically so because we have part of our we're using
Well, this is much easier to understand. Oh, how it actually and you see like you see like right because it's hard about it.
the branches so Let's see if we
Yeah.
can.
There's
Yeah.
no, like,
There's nothing about.
look, I'm trying to explain you that, right?
They can be broken up.
Yeah, right.
Want to get into
And then there's some.
Yeah.
You're right, okay. One of the biggest is, like, looking at that, I was. But if you look at the tree. I know, and then I saw myself drawing the tree there, back on the screen. Nothing happened. Here it is. But it makes sense given the term. So I mean, I suppose it's a tree. It's how I.
Yeah. I'm not. For too long. Oh, yeah, well, I like that term. Yeah. Then I can also use it for requests. We don't have any appropriation lines. Because we allow, right?
Oh, no, really?
I worked with it before.
Yeah.
Well,
here's what we will have.
Yeah.
You can always hold it back. So,
everything.
we'll have to-
Sure you want to go.
One of the most interesting talks is on Saturday, how the kids work. You know, outside of their faces.
Yeah.
Yeah, but like, you can break it down. To play parts of their players.
That's what they're.
But it's a certain type of database. Like, they crack that. If I'm not mistaken. Yeah, exactly. They were trying to see what it was. You would crack.
Yeah, so this should be a tab, right? So that you should know this.
Yeah, no, you guys want to do that. I thought I should have done it. On Monday. I was gonna say the same thing directly. Like, you can crack that. This is not very easy. It's not, you think like Revelation, you find this in the Bible. And then trying to establish, like, I don't know you guys, I don't know. So that same, like, that's how the crack that is. Just like that. Yeah, no, you're a no.
So, yeah.
I didn't want to. So you're a person, I'm a person, that's where your relationship is described on it. And then it's really interesting. So
You have to do it all together. That means
that is.
But then 10 minutes will move.
So, San Francisco.
Yeah, don't we go?
Denver is Salt Lake.
And you all can talk about it.
It's actually. Like, I can't go
We'll
over
be
there,
close
there,
there.
here, there, there, you know, it's the same concept.
Yeah, so maybe that would fit more.
And information that's stored on each of the distance. And, you know, maybe that's something like really.
Yeah, certainly.
Alright, it just reminds me.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Academic.
It's so funny, see, like, that's, I really like, we talk about it, we like, and it turns out.
Yeah, what's up? Yeah, hold on one sec.
They put content on the and then it's just. So, wow. What if I did, so if I did but yeah, so that's right. Yeah, maybe.
Everybody's dropping everything. Okay, guys, big power clap. We gotta keep moving on. We only have so much time. Guys, real quick. Everybody, let's take your attention real quick. Okay. Okay. So, if you get into a situation where you're really stuck with Git, something's going wrong, you got some conflicts, you got all kinds of craziness going on, Tim, what would you think the best thing to do is?
What?
In a situation where
you have
a bunch of stuff going on, your branch is all messed up, you can't get the client, you can't get the master any longer, and you have no idea what to do with the code. You can't get it back in.
RM-R. Don't do that.
So refactor. The best thing to do would be to basically start over, right? I mean, just get a new copy, save your code somewhere else, create a new copy of your master, and start from there. So start bringing your code into it, into the and back into your branch. There's a way to reset, basically, is what we're saying. And the easiest way to reset is to just get a new version of it.
Sometimes, yeah. I mean, if things are really, really bad.
If things are really bad.
If things are really, really bad.
Right.
Otherwise, yeah, there are ways to undo.
Right, and don't be afraid to look up documentation on Git. All right, there's a ton of good stuff on there. We can cover 5% of everything you can do with Git. So there's a lot of stuff out there. If you get stuck and you're like, hey, I want to do this thing, just Google Git, do whatever thing you want to do, and there's documentation for it. Okay, so remember, documentation is your friend, right?
Yeah.
All right. It is. All right, so guys, let's do this. We do this for the rest of the class, so please stay on topic. I slacked out the version of my presentation, I think, hopefully to this class. Okay, and that should cover like all of a good section, good percentage of all the APIs, how to use them, what we're looking for projects, those kind of things. In that presentation, do you see it? Okay, it should be in a PDF. Did I not select it out?
Yeah.
Okay. Perfect. I also created a Word doc that shows it better than my PDF. That you can see. Thank you. So anyway, what we're gonna do is start identifying ideas, research APIs, and create project designs. Guys, really do the best you can creating a project design tonight still, if you can. Okay, what does that mean? Just put together a concept to present. Okay, do the best you can. Okay, let's work on task, guys. Don't mess around. We gotta be real serious about it. We gotta get something done in an hour. So focus real hard, play with APIs, come up with some ideas, okay? All right, go.
So what do you guys hand over? So what are there some APIs that that allow us to search for?
Yeah.
I was talking to other people, but anyway. I built something where we could manage trade.
Okay, yeah, I think that, yeah, those are some that we can sort of okay. So the purpose of the website would be that people construct like a plan. Is there a
Yeah.
I mean, if you had to make something that you would want to intersecting with
I definitely like it. Do I do it very often? Not right now. I think it was there.
some sort of
Unique value. Perfect. Anyway, right now.
want to incorporate a database that would allow you to work progress.
That's smart.
It's a matter of if they created an API. That's what we'll have to figure out. So let's try to figure that out first. Maybe. That actually, it's got to be somewhere. It's like a 3D.
So I would suggest do your work here when you're ready to do a poll. Make sure, because you never want to commit to master until you're sure that your code is going to adversely affect the application. So you do a poll, you take whatever exists in your code, check it, make sure it operates, fix it there, and then before you commit to another poll, right? Before you do another poll, if everything works with you, then you go back to master and then do a version, your branch, or do a poll. So my point is, don't because you don't want to incorporate the application when you're ready to turn it on. That's what we do. Don't do The reason for that is because I own a lot of checks.
You gotta buy your own.
So what should we call it? Or you can list nutrients that you're consuming. Concerned about. If I'm reading this right, that's pretty good. So this is it's a REST API. I've seen that a lot, but I haven't used it. Is that just returning baseline data or what? I know we can do Oh, there's a YouTube video about it. That's what we're talking about.
I know, use it. There, I know, I guess you were there. Guy over here. Gig guy, now I have a gig question.
Well, he manages to get refill for
For our compiler.
yeah, like, we should bring him up and have a discussion.
I didn't my next time, I was like, oh.
I would. I just did. We can always change that. It's gonna be about nutrition and right? So like healthy lifestyle. Figure out what. Yeah. Yeah. So we might have to learn how to use, there's another environment that supports logins and things like that. And I think it just gives you a database of users, but it takes care of using passwords and all that sensitive type stuff. So if we're going to like touch the login, I mean, because yeah, people's nutrition and like personal health info is probably something that you keep kind of confidential. I think Firebase takes care of that for us. So, or I would be more required to learn how to use one new API or something, and that's probably a good one to use. Yeah, it checks it out. So basically, what is it? So it's a website to allow people to track their nutrition. Maybe that's
I'm about grass. Now we're
Their help.
Clear. Only in my mind. What I first thought, I was like, typically, water is more charging, less process. So like you're being like, it's really, but if you're at Airbnb, you have like 10,000. But just right here. Typically, they just have exactly. Yeah, it's really takes me. And then, yeah, like, is that, I mean, yeah. No, guys, get out of here. We don't, I already. That's what I said.
There's the government's data for.
You know, we're out.
Say this video is.
You tell me to tell me.
Okay, that's
So
good.
you've already.
So would you store that then in Firefox?
Yeah.
What
Yeah.
image would we store?
Probably the starting point.
So,
and
and I
then
I might suggest sort of like charting out.
checkpoints.
Really kind of.
Put it right down, so we have it. That's, I mean, that's
It's
great.
great.
And then maybe we could start
But.
suggesting
Right, right.
Suggesting.
Yeah.
start pointing to.
If the delta is sitting right here.
Right, like, holy cow, you should have started
Your
yesterday.
wedding's.
What's that? Oh, yeah, good, good.
Yeah, my story is though, like, you know, I'm sure you guys have a great idea, I'm just saying, if you can't quite get there. That's my suggestion. Right, you know, maybe start going to the hard one, or you start going to the easier, you get that, then go to the next step.
Tractor progress.
I think I hate this experience. And new ones.
That might be a little bit harder. Personal trainer says.
Yeah. Yeah, we could probably win that. I don't know. Yeah. You don't want to get
hard. We have to go really out. So I don't That's maybe hard. Who else? You know, there's some smart people in our class. Who knows what to do? Do you have any?
Yeah, we'll have to see how we want to divide up. Like, I mean, I probably need people working on it. Yeah. For 3 months, right? So we'll all see what's going on. Because I think we're all going to be working out the same master range, so we'll see. The commits as they all have. Yeah, we'll just have to figure out, we need to start thinking about what the different paths are. And we'll be ready to sign up for us. So we got the slide.
We'll try to keep it like even. Every time. You know, we want to make sure that everybody's getting the same area amount of difference. That's the way you know, our end project. Should result in 1, 2, or 3. So if it's not very good, that's part of it. So I think we need to make sure everyone knows it. So we're going to shoot for it. Because we all should be able to work together. So that means we're going to have I would
In
assume.
different class, it sounds like, I mean, the next 5 class sessions are working together. So, I mean, I think it would be nice if we could primarily get it done during class. So we don't have to try to coordinate our schedules throughout the rest of our lives, but I mean, if we need to, we will. But they're giving us class time.
Saturday is all.
I mean, Wednesday, Saturday, the following Monday, the following Wednesday. So we have 4 full classes. It's like 3 hours, 4 hours. So that's, yeah, 14 hours. That should be more than enough. As we also have to do on our own outside of this.
That's because I don't want to.
Yeah, I don't know what that's like. So I think we should try to get as much of a head start as we can. So let's brainstorm this a little more, figure out, so what do we want the page to actually look like? What elements need to be, like, what do we want the overall user experience to be like when someone logs in, what do they see?
I would suggest that it's like.
Well, so like when they first sign up, okay, so we need to like a sign up sequence and someone to figure out what questions we're gonna ask and report in the database. And then what we're gonna actually do with that information. I think some of that depends on like what's available to us. Like, do we have a good way to like query YouTube for like beginner fitness videos versus advanced versus like
You don't want to talk.
right.
I can do something and that's what the checkout should hopefully be rather than that. Now, if you're yeah, that might be your until you get to your goal.
We have to have some algorithmic way of figuring out.
So that's like, yeah, that's just theoretically.
Right.
If it's possible.
Isn't it possible if it's working with what we're going to use? So, okay, so maybe the first page is probably just a basic thing like sign in if you're an existing user. But that'd be better. To create any use. Yeah.
Just like a month.
Sign up or log in if you're an existing user. Yeah. But depending on what their goals are, then we create two pages for them based on where they're at. Appropriate exercise. It's gonna be it all hinges on us being able to formulate. That's the part that we're using. So what are the tasks that are all going to need to be done? So I mean, I think that's one of them. Somebody needs to figure out the actual capabilities of APIs, experiment with queries, like, I mean, all we can do is say fitness videos. You can't search for like advanced or beginner or looking at catwalks or
There's the IO doc.
Can we do? I think sites that
they create plans. They could just use it.
It's something that it's like, it's probably like a picture of exercises. That might be.
Well, we want it to be useful. Like, I mean, most people know how to search for videos by themselves, so that's all we're trying to do. Like we just say, you know, here's something you might want to, I think we need to, the site needs to provide some sort of service to the user. Because there's enough search engines out there already. If we're like assimilating the information they already gave us and then querying some API for them
Yeah, so somebody will have to.
right, that's why I'm trying to figure like what tasks we're doing for next time. Like, I think we should leave here with a concrete list of things that each of us is going to do, come back to you with. And then so we see where we're at. Kind of get an overall architecture established, and then we can start assigning tasks. So what investigations? So let's make a list of investigations. And then we can figure out. So I think someone needs to figure out the exact capabilities of the nutrition API and how to use it. I found one that's a possibility here. So someone needs to figure out how the nutrition needs to work. Someone needs to figure out how the exercise needs to work. What the actual capabilities are, like YouTube, or if maybe there's a better specialized API out there somewhere, like you said, it shows just diagrams, like, I mean, if there's something like that exists.
Lost track of
Yeah.
those two.
Yeah, well, that's basically it, yeah, so from the fitness side, like, if we have a sufficient training, or maybe there's a better one somewhere, like a guy that specifically designed for this, that like you guys were saying, it shows the active, you know, that,
Well, yeah.
so I think that's probably a bigger task. Figuring out what fitness API we're going to use, how it works.
Basically go on search API that
You want to take that one? So the USDA has a nutrition API, and we just got to figure out, but then like, you guys, how are we going to use all of this together? So what is that experience going to be? Is it going to be that we just allow people to try, like, to actually try to? That's verging on AI.
That's a lot. I would say it's I think that's a lot.
That's beyond, that's
It's like
too big. Okay. So, yeah, I think we need to figure out what exactly we're going to survey. Like, I mean, so if we ask, like, what's your current weight, what's your goal weight? Maybe things like that, or
Because that'd be so much easier than
yeah,
trying to
that's
suggest.
not hard.
The person's putting their phone shoot now, okay, here's how many calories you had, how much vitamin C, and all
Yeah, we
that.
can take a list of items
Which one is
and
that in your whole?
maybe get a little graph that shows like more of this, less than this.
Yeah, you want calcium.
No, so like as they do the check-in, so like so when they sign up, you figure out what their overall goal is, whether it's weight loss or gain. Right. And then we have them, yeah, it's what their daily. Well, and then, so then we can show a chart, then we have them input what food they ate for a day. And then we give the USDA database to figure out how many calories and stuff. And we can show a graph of whether they get more or less again based on what. I mean, for nutrition, I think it doesn't matter. I mean, housing, I think everyone needs to get more. If you're trying to gain weight, like, you're going to need more protein and more calories. If you're trying to lose weight, the calorie deficit of about I can stick with outside for now.
And actually,
Yeah, I think it's coming together. We're trying to follow some tasks. Right. Yeah. I already have. Yeah, figure out things. How to use that and what exactly. So figure out how to use the rest of the data.
Yeah, I'll look around too and see if there
You'll
is.
probably have to pass it. All that actually trying to. Yeah, like, I don't want to track everything.
No, there's a lot of, but I mean, you can probably track.
Yeah, probably. I can find out. My hunch is probably not. Unless you pass it.
And I think the other thing that is probably just the flow of that overall design and flow of the website. Like, we kind of started talking about it, so like a brand new user, what their experience is versus someone who's, and what, you know, exactly what page you were showing. I think we started thinking about what the actual audience is going to down the the user experience. UI, UX, you know, at least the overall. That doesn't mean you'll have to implement all of it necessarily. Yeah, like this is just the initial. Yeah. Yeah.
You gotta have the whole entire stuff.
HTML with tags.
JavaScript, every button has to be ready.
Every button has that ready so that we can.
I expect by midnight, we're gonna hire somebody. Yep.
So you basically,
I'll figure out what features we should.
He's basically gonna like, that's gonna wind up being kind of a little architecture for the project. So I have the nutrition, you've got the fitness API, basically, you've got the database architecture. Okay, so if we all come back with the basic options around that, I think we should pretty quickly then be able to start assigning tasks. You know, we're gonna be on an overall architecture and then put that up in the text, in the tasks. And start with
Just
or you could check it in.
That's true.
I would say check, because who knows what happens in Slack, like, I would say check it in as like a, you know, initial architecture discussion or whatever, preliminary investigation, text or whatever, and check it in. Yeah, that's why I want you to. So you'll need to copy the file into your. We all got tests.
yeah.
Right. Awesome. Now, my way we documented it. Now he's going to check it in. There you go. Check it in. Yep. Or actually,
Yeah.
Check the document. It's supposed to be accessible to get pages.
Yes, but not everybody's doing it.
Oh, really?
Yeah, because it's not required.
It's
It's not required for that.
Where's it getting paid?
Yes, but it's not required. So I don't
Maybe
think
not
everybody,
strictly, okay.
I have to. But I'm sure.
So, yeah, yes.
Because it says to answer your
Yeah.
Which is required not to wear. I don't know. It's not possible. I'm sorry.
How do they like get paid? Well, so the concern is gonna be out. That's why. Otherwise, I get a lot of
But to have a applicable, I've got to get it on to the service. There's some fitness things where you get a dog.
Right. And so, you know, I think Apple takes what, a third? Is that what it is? And then you get 2/3 of it. That's people buy.
Yeah, almost every app. And I don't know how that works for them.
Yeah, I think you only get a very, very small, unless someone clicks on it. If you're trying to figure out, like,
I think that's how it works for YouTube and stuff.
Facebook's completely. I mean, Google has all kinds of. So is that your phone? Well, so, okay, so we wanna put it in the clone for a project. That you just created earlier. So inside of your clone, create a new directory. Docs, you'll see that's like. Cool. Is your clone or?
So he's in the folder.
Okay, so create a new directory called docs, DOCS. And this first task, docx, that's the file that has it. Okay, so you need to move that into this directory. So say MD. And then the file name. Oh, is there a space in the file name? Yeah, so first task is docx. So as a general rule, we rename that file. It's like, you should never put spaces in a file name. A space on a command line, I don't think you're dealing with two files unless you put the name in quotes, and you don't want to have to. Yeah, or you can use underscores to hide the words or a dash or something like that, but just spaces generally are. that's good.
The only one that.
And actually, it's be able to tag the FIR tab. Yeah, there we go. To, oh no. Wait, that wasn't the whole command. Sorry. So hit up arrow to, and now to, are done. Type no, done. Then we need to rewind it have a docs folder. Now we gotta. Now we gotta get into our repo. So now you gotta create a branch. Yeah, so get check out dash B. And then branch. Dash B. It doesn't matter. You can call it. This is your. You can call it whatever you want. You can just say first stop or first task. First task. Oh, so you're waiting, so you're not inside your Git repository? Oh, we haven't added this folder yet, so do a CD doc. And now try to get it. Oh, wait, so, so where are we? So so earlier did you clone our new repository that we created? Right. That's where this is. Where are we? Here. Private repository. Yeah.
Yeah. So, and then you create a branch inside that you should still have the original flow. That's where we're trying to add this to. So you just gotta go
Okay, so you need to create that, or you need to create a doc. How about, okay. Yeah, you already have to use it. Yeah, you can just do I think so, yeah, you know, you're,
I gotta go to work.
oh.
Yeah.
Oh, wow. How late do you work? Oh, you work overnight? Okay.
I bet you know.
I'll figure it out.
All right, so see you guys later.
Yeah. Right, me either.
You're going
You know, it's there we go.
Probably one of those copies.
Yeah, figure out what we're gonna say. Well, not well, I mean, he's kind of,
Nobody's calling. I do it like you.
Heart rate monitor?
I just saw the Fitbit, right? I was thinking, an area where it's like, oh, watching, so it's like,
They knew that I was learning how to do something else.
Hey guys, real quick, it's gonna be power clap back together. We're gonna do this. All right, one more time, everybody. All right, so I'm hearing a lot of good ideas. If we haven't perfectly vet out your idea, that's fine. If you can Slack me your final idea before Wednesday, just your basics, how you plan on, what APIs you plan on using, what you know, how you plan to use Firebase, that kind of thing. Slack it to me and Christian. Actually, if you can just write that down, just remember, Slack to me and Christian. If I don't back to you, Christian will, vice versa. And then we'll, by Wednesday, we should be able to be like pretty much all set on our projects and be able to start hit the ground running. Does that make sense? You guys can come up with something by Wednesday for sure? Yeah? Yeah? How you guys feel on Wednesday? Come on. Come on. Okay. How will we figure out Wednesday? Are you better 2 minutes?
We wanted to not file so now that we other filter inside called docs.